Is brought to you by Terrible General Health System's Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Everybody, welcome back into Bite Time Sports. Hey, it's the pro football camp, and it's been around for a long time. This will be the 14th annual pro football camp at Guidry Stadium in Nicholls University, and they've been doing it 15 years now, but it's a big time. It's a great time for people to learn and get an opportunity to show off their skills. And we're going to talk about it over the next 3 segments. And here to talk about it, Coach Rod. Everybody knows Coach Rod. Don Rodriguez, camp director, football camp. And again, thanks for being here. Ann Miller, who's marketing and planning coordinator at Ortho LE, and the camp organizer is always also here. And Brian Wallace, defensive line coach at Nicholls State University. Guys, thanks so much for being here. Coach Rod, it's hard to imagine it's the 14th annual, but y'all been doing this 15 years. You missed one because of COVID, but sure. Kind of wild that y'all been doing this.
Yes, it's been enjoyable. It doesn't look that long. When David Elias, one of the ortho surgeons at Ortho LA, and his brother Albert, who was an NFL sports agent,
right.
And it was their brainchild to start it. And the pro part of it was he was signing pro guys, a lot of them from LSU, and they came. I mean, we had the Greens, Skylar Green, Jarvis Green, and all those guys.
Right.
And Mark Roman, they've always been coming.
Yeah, Marlon Favorite, Eric Alexander. This is some of the guys. Philip Livas, who played Louisiana Tech and played South Terrebonne. Casey Roussel, John Forcade. That's the guy's my age.
Yes, but he comes and
he played in the NFL.
Sure.
And if you don't know, coming out in 1977, he was one of the highest ranked quarterbacks in the country coming out that year. He signed with Ole Miss. Good to see all of those guys and a big part of what they do. And how about marketing this camp, and how many campers y'all expecting to come in? What are you thinking there?
The camp has definitely grown over the years since it was started back in 2007. This year, we have had more kids pre-register than we ever have before. It's doubled since last week. So this is my 4th year to be involved with the camp, and each year it's grown. So we're expecting. Last year we had 350 kids, so I would think closer to 400 this year, just based on the initial numbers.
That's amazing. And Ortho LA, I know it's symmetry, from what they do for a living, and to have football players and all. So it works as a good partnership, I would imagine.
It does, but it's really the backstory. I think it is great because, like Coach Rod said, Dr. Elias and his brother Albert started this camp. They wanted to do something to give back to the community that all kids or most kids could afford to come to and that benefited from coming to. And several years ago, Albert passed away unexpectedly. And so the Elias family had to decide, where do we go from here? Do we continue this camp? And so their family, along with the doctors at Ortho LA, decided we're going to keep this going. We've had such a great partnership with Nicholls. So it really is something that's so great on so many levels. There's a feel-good part of it, but it's great for the kids, and it's certainly great for the community.
Yeah, absolutely. Brian, this is probably the 4th camp this year.
Right.
Of course, you have the big linemen that come in. Coach Rod's been with that one for a long time. Then you got the pretty boy Mannings that all come in, and all those receivers and those quarterbacks. Now another camp, but this is almost kind of together with Nicholls. You see like LSU will have a camp. This is a big part of that. You can actually maybe sign players that are coming out of here. Huh?
Correct. This is a big part of our recruiting, to have our kids on campus. All of our coaches are going to be working in with each position. We in the years past, since Coach Rebo got there in 2015, and I've been lucky enough to be a part of that staff, we've signed 90% of our signing classes have been Louisiana high school players. A lot of those kids coming from this camp that we get to personally see, personally work with, evaluate, and then they get to see our campus and see the people that they'll, eventually get to work with through their college career. So it's been very advantageous to us.
Which facility-wise, right?
Correct, no doubt.
You don't mind having more people on campus, right? And if you can have 400 athletes out there, to see y'all new facilities, that's going to be pretty good.
Yep, we just got that new field house, so they get to see that, get to tour it afterwards. So, it is a really good recruiting tool for us to use.
Yeah, real big. And it used to be just film or coaches watching on Friday night, but now you almost have to have guys compete against each other to kind of see speed on speed or that kind of stuff. Huh?
Correct, and we get to see how they take to coaching. We get to see how they compete in camp when they're tired, when they're fresh, so we can evaluate all those things that we might not be able to see on a daily basis with them at practice, and we only can get out to so many Friday night games. So it's been really good that we get to work hand in hand with them.
Coach Rod, this is big, huh? I mean, so tell me, who can come to this event?
8th graders.
8 through 12.
All through 12. Yes, we encourage. And I'm gonna next year as we grow, I'm gonna try to implement more of the junior high kids that are, age wise can come in, because they're our future. We're gonna invest in our youth. That's a great part to invest with our 8th graders and our junior high kids.
Well, it's time too, to acclimate to weather before you get out there and start trying to do. Well, you don't do 2-a-days anymore, but before you start doing this weather, it's a good opportunity to kind of get some good training and
good coaching. You're going to be coached by local high school coaches. You're going to be coached by the Nicholls college coaches, and we have a number of NFL guys. Now, I've seen the guys like Jarvis Green will take a kid off to the side and just talk to him about hand placement on pass rush, and the other NFL guys that come in about backpedaling, or they'll take an 8th grader. It doesn't have to be a prospect, and working with him. So, and in the long run, that works out good, for that.
I mean, look, he's part of Belichick, right? So he knows what he's talking about when he's talking about hand placement and stuff. So, fall camp, the 14th annual, will be held at Guidry Stadium in Nicholls on Friday, July 22nd. It's from 7:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. and registration is like at 6:30 in the morning. So you can get there, register, and play, or you can register online. We do have that online now. The www.profootballcamp.org is a great way that you can get online, get registered, and participate in a great camp prior to the season. It's open to 8th graders to seniors, and so anybody can get involved. So we're here talking with Coach Don Rodriguez, Coach Rod, Brian Wallace, and Ann Miller. Thanks so much for being here with the camp. Hey, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the actual event. So 6:30 you can sign up, but by 7:30 they're going to be you're going to be stretching them, and they're going to be
We're going to
working,
be getting
right?
them going. So our strength staff's going to be out there getting them warmed up, obviously injury prevention. And then for the first part of the camp, we're going to put them through a combine-like testing, just like the NFL. So they're going to be running 40s, running a pro agility, the 5-10-5, an L drill, vertical jump, broad jump. They're going to be being coached on how to do that, some of the finer points of, hey, what can maybe help you run a faster 40, a faster pro agility, and we're timing it so they have a kind of a point of where they know where they're at. Then the second part of the camp, they're going to be working individual with their position, with the college coaches, with the NFL players, with Nicholls players, with some local college players. They'll be working positional work, getting coached up, running drills. Then they'll be able to showcase some one-on-one stuff, wide receivers versus defensive backs, running backs versus linebackers, O-line, D-line. And at the end, we do like a modified 7-on-7 pass scale where they can get some teamwork in.
Yeah, so how important is that? Now, it does seem like the summers have turned into this 7-on-7 kind of, a lot of teams go and play as teams. You got camps, you got camp season, you got recruiting season. So how important is this for you guys to get these guys on campus like that?
It's very important so we can get a very good evaluation on them. Not only we get to coach them individually so that we can see how they take to our coaching, we can see how they perform with stuff that's similar to what we teach our guys. But then we see them in a team setting, how they communicate, how they compete, how they work together. So being able to see all that on a field level basis is really critical for us.
Yeah, Coach Rod, over the years, man, how's this camp changed? This has been an evolution. I mean, look, just with NIL and the way college football is right now. But what about the evolution of summers and the way people prepare for the year?
We started the camp with under 100. And now we could probably tip the scales at 400 in 14 years. But coaching a guy in the back pedal, a few offensive linemen, there's not much that changed. But the idea of it's football is year round. I mean, there's no more summer.
Right.
You know, it's you're working out at 6 o'clock. Your high school coaches, and that's who does most of the coaching. We gotta have about 25 high school coaches working with these guys. So during the programs, they work out from 6 to 8, 6 to 10. Usually on Wednesdays, there's a 7-on-7 with your team against some other team. You go against 6 other teams somewhere. E.D. White has a great program with 7-on-7, and that's the difference. I mean, I started coaching in 1972. There was 2 backs in the backfield or 3. And now that's no backs or 1. I mean, and the
wing team's not working anymore.
The field is 52 yards wide. They make you cover
the whole
52
thing,
yards
right?
wide. So
Oh, look, we used to be able to cover up. You had some bad defensive backs. You just kind of play a little zone back there. You can cover that up. You ain't covering them up anymore, man.
Can't do it anymore. So the evolution of the game of football. And when I first went to Nicholls with Sonny Jackson, we were doing that. That's what we were doing on offense with Joe Clark, and you know. So it was. It's changed. It was a run stuff.
Right.
Now it's pass rush.
Oh, yeah.
Get off the ball, get up the field, zone blocking. Nobody hits anybody in the mouth anymore.
Right, right.
You know,
Well,
everything is its own block.
I had actually heard that they were getting away from stances, right? That might be one of the concussion things, is not to have that stance where you come off. And look, the game could easily do that, right? And just, not have the lineman anymore because it's so wide open now. And defenses have changed. And coach, I guess, as a defensive player, you got to have guys in space that can make plays. So
Right.
You're not going to have a linebacker that weighs 260 pounds anymore that's just going to run on there and smoke a guard. He's got to be able to guard a back out of the backfield.
Correct. With the evolution of the game, the way it is, it really definitely has changed the way that teams have recruited. Now it's size and height. It's more speed, explosion. Can they cover? Can they run and hit? So we've kind of had to tailor our guys we recruit to what we see on a weekly basis and what we go against.
Right. Because look, you might not find a receiver that's 6'4" and runs a 4.4 anymore, right? A guy that's going to play, but you might be able to find a bunch of those little guys that could little wiggle, slot receivers.
Right.
So the game might change in that way as well. And let's talk a little bit more about promoting the event and what you're doing and how do you organize getting 400 kids on campus for one day like that?
Not by myself. I do put together a lot of things before camp, but I do have a lot of help. As far as promoting it, social media is big. The coaches themselves, Coach Rod goes out and visits probably with every high school coach within
Right, and they're all gonna be
60
working, a lot
mile
of them, yeah.
radius. Or more. So we definitely do that. And then a lot of it is word of mouth, just kind of year after year. The continuing education department at Nicholls is who we schedule this through. So they put the camp on their website. So when people are looking at the Nicholls website at summer camps, they'll see our camp on there.
Yeah. I'm looking at the coaches, and a lot of these guys are, from Westminster Christian, which is, I guess, in Lafayette still, but all the way from Morgan City down to Bayou. So all of those coaches
all the
will be
coaches.
here. We're talking about the 14th annual Pro Football Camp. It's again on Friday, July 22nd. From 7:30 a.m. registration, you can get there at 6:30 a.m. and it'll go to 2. And it's a great way to get involved and get ready for the football season and let some guys check you out, if you're a potential player. So we're visiting with Coach Rod Rodrigue, Pro Football Director of the camp. It's Ann Miller, who's the marketing and planning coordinator from Ortho LA, and Brian Wallace is defensive line coach with Nicholls State University. Brian, I guess that's where I wanted to start a little bit more and talk about camp and how the games kind of changed a little bit. But let's talk about a little more about what you're doing. You're gonna do some combine stuff,
Correct.
But then you're gonna start teaching these guys a little individual drills. How different is that now in the coaching? Change, because we were just talking about some guys couldn't play today that were
Right.
playing back then and the evolution of the game.
Well, it for the O-line and D-line, not much has changed in terms of stopping the run. The way you play
Still
it.
gotta do that.
Still got to do that. Just the pass rush has evolved. Obviously, these more teams, the RPOs, the passing game. So you got to find some more pass rushers and be able to teach that effectively. And then is obviously for the offensive skill, it's a little bit different because, for the running backs, you don't have a fullback anymore. You're not blocking and things like that. More open space, making plays in space. So we try to tailor our techniques, our drills to that at those positions to mimic what we want to get in the game.
So as a recruiter now, any NIL, the game's changed completely in a number of different ways.
Right.
But how does that all play? And does that have any? You just teaching physics right now. I mean, the physical part
Correct.
of the game.
Yeah.
Right now. You're not worried about that. Right?
We're not worried about NIL. We're just we see there's two types of kids. There's kids that love recruiting, kids that love football. And at Nicholls, we try to find kids that love football, that want to play football, work out, and do all the things that are involved with it. So.
Yeah. Have you seen any change that way though on the recruiting end of it, or kids kind of expecting that? There was a movie that came out when I was recruited, right? It was 1970 in the 70s. It was called One on One. It was Robbie Benson. It was a basketball player, and they offered him like a 280Z, right? and so I'm a goofy baseball player, but I'm expecting. I'll probably get a car out of it. I barely got half a scholarship, right? So anyway, the expectations. My point is the expectations against reality. What have you seen that?
We haven't dealt with it as much at Nicholls, but I do think there's that perception out there, like NIL. Well, everyone's gonna want to sponsor me and do all that, which obviously as a business they're gonna give money and be selective with who they want to.
Right.
One double in football.
Right.
Not going to see too much.
Oh, I'd be happy to get some Taco Bell drive-through after the game. That'd be fine. Not to give them a plug, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I just was curious on the recruiting trail and the newness of it, what it's like. But
yeah, we haven't had to deal with it too much. And to be honest, I'm kind of glad in that regard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we can kind of just stick to the nuts and bolts of football. But we obviously got to be on the forefront of it because at some time it probably will trickle down to us.
right. Or if you can pop one guy, a quarterback or something,
Yep.
always be awesome.
Yeah.
If you can, hey, Rouse's, help me out here. No, just but Coach Rod, to see the changes and all of that. Do you think it all comes down to whether the kid loves football, right? And that's a big part of it, because it's not an easy game to play.
No, I mean, I think what we see, the SEC media days, and they asking those questions, that hasn't filtered down to 1AA football as of yet. And I mean, high school guys want to play.
Right.
And if you're good, it's your teammates. That guy, the guy on the side of you, he might go to college. He might go to welding school. The next guy might be going to be a doctor. The next guy. And those guys, when you get recruited, most of the guys that's getting recruited, they're just teammates.
Right.
They're not expecting what we see in the SEC.
Yeah.
And not on that level.
Yeah. Although, we do have some guys that pop and go to the NFL and play and have done real well. And I think what we're seeing, just my personal thing, I think some of those agents are inflating the price of what these guys are getting, and I don't think we're going to see it like a NFL contract. $100 million is really 2 years at $20 million, so which is still decent. So anyway, hey, let's talk about promoting this event a little bit more, Ann, and how do people get involved and how can they check in?
So right now, you still have time to go online and register, which I think, especially for those mamas out there, sure makes your life easier if you have it all done beforehand. But you can go online, register, Venmo the registration fee, fill out the form, drop it off at any of our clinic locations, or show up Friday morning and fill that paperwork out and take care of it then.
Yeah, so it's $50 for a whole day, and again, they're going to get a lot out of this registration and registration fee. A lot of their coaches are going to be there. They're going to get great coaching for sure.
And at the end of the day, we're going to have a meal for them. At the end of the day, the NFL guys, this is the best part of the camp. I don't know if it's the best part. The NFL guys sit and talk, and they tell the kids how to carve Easter cabbage. Take care of your books. Take care of your body. Take care of your mom and dad. And I mean, when Roman talks, Alexander talks, he is definitely into it and giving a message.
Yeah.
And if you've ever been around to those guys giving them, Skylar Green is great at it.
Right.
I'm just telling you.
Yeah, no, and no doubt. And again, I was just kind of playing.
Yeah, I know.
But your reality a lot of times is not there, and have some guys like this telling you this is how it is.
I mean,
You
they
better
tell
take
them-
care of yourself.
He
And,
said,
and
they're
get
telling you
ready.
15 years ago, I'm sitting where you sit.
Right.
And I wasn't thinking about no NFL. I just wanted to play. I mean, that's
I just want an
basically what they-
opportunity.
That's what they wanted.
Well, guys, thank y'all so much, and good luck with the.
Well, we want to
Thanks.
thank HTV and Martin Falls and you for, helping us promote.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope we get 500 people out there for sure. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Appreciate
Harry.
it. We'll be right back with more Bayou Time after this.